All right, good afternoon. No, wait. Wait, I'll get it. Wait. No, you can take it off. What? And the remote work on it. I just yeah. Yeah. Dr. Wahab, you need something? Okay. All right, good afternoon. Okay. So as promised last week. One moment. You see the class rep is looking for me. Okay. You come and meet us. Okay. So as promised last week, I'm going to recap what we did in the first 1 hour, and then we can continue. In fact, what I failed to do last week was to give you the course outline. I didn't do that. I realized that later, so I'll provide that today. But the good thing is that we went through almost every aspect of the course outline. What I also didn't mention is that you will be given a term paper as early as possible. So hopefully by next week, by the time you come back next week, you would have had access to the term paper. So the groupings that you will need to do, I think we'll leave that with you to do your groupings. The maximum number of the group would also be clearly specified. Okay, that carries 40%. I think I mentioned that, and the sit-down exam would be 60%. So at least if you are able to get 35 in the term paper, and you get some other 35 in the exam, you are on course to getting an A. Yes. Yeah, this is not a difficult course. So there's no reason why all of you cannot have an A. Okay. So we are going to recap, and then we can proceed, trying to understand what we mean by information system. So last week, our main focus was to do this, to understand what we mean by an information system, and then how it works, and then the three aspects of it, or the three components of it: the management, the organizational, and the technology components. I will revisit that in the first 30 minutes. I will look at all this. Why are complementary assets essential for ensuring that information systems provide genuine value for organizations? And then the last ones, how are information systems transforming business today? And then why are they so important for running and managing the business today? Now, based on our explanations last week, I want us to look at a scenario. Who knows what this picture represents? Do you know what this picture represents? A spaceship, and we know what a spaceship does. So a spaceship would always have what? A pilot, a space pilot, who would man the spacecraft or spaceship. So assuming you are the pilot of this spaceship, and you control various aspects of the spaceship, but there are several critical components I want us to pay attention to in relation to what we want to understand in this course. Now, we will call this spaceship the UDS SOB spaceship. UDS SOB is we, us, our spaceship. Now, we want to look at what the spaceship does in terms of one critical component, data collection. The spaceship has sensors around it, so that whatever is coming to hit it, if it's going to be an asteroid or any alien craft or being, the sensors or stone, those are the asteroids. The sensors will do what? Will detect it, and the pilot would know, so that the pilot will be able to meander the spaceship in a way that it will not be hit. That's just one aspect. One other important aspect is data processing. The ship has a powerful computer processing tool, which processes whatever trackings the spaceship will do regarding alien objects, asteroids, and whatnot. So it will process this raw data and analyze it, so that once it is making the analysis, the pilot will be able to tell whether it is very close to the asteroid, is very close to another planet, or an alien being. How is the pilot going to know this? The pilot is going to know how close the spacecraft is to an asteroid by looking at an information display. So the spacecraft or ship also has a portion which contains what? An information display. And this display processes information and presents, the process information is presented to the pilot on a control panel, so that the pilot will know exactly what is coming. The pilot needs to make decisions based on the information displayed, based on the data collected, processed, and the information displayed. So based on this information, the pilot can make some informed decisions. For example, the system may show that the pilot is approaching an asteroid field, and then the pilot can decide to change course or raise some protective shields to protect the spaceship from it. Then another one, communication. The embedded system in the spacecraft would also facilitate communication between different departments of the spaceship. The chief engineer can instantly report on engine status. If an engine is failing, there is no fuel, or fuel consumption is becoming so low, that they will be able to tell. Then there's also a medical bay. So if somebody is sick, they can communicate and say, oh, because of the height we have reached, someone is finding it difficult to breathe. So medical team come and attend to this person. Then other aspects may include resource management, a system that will help manage resources efficiently in there. You know, spacecraft, the way they travel, they cannot take a lot, the kinds of food we eat. I mean, they cannot take a lot of bamboo. They cannot take heavy food, so they take light foods. So resource management is very, very important. Then let's also quickly look at tracking. The system allows the pilot to monitor the performance of different ship systems and the other crew members. Then there's also what we call predictive analytics. This predictive analysis the system will have an advanced algorithm that can predict potential future scenarios based on so it will be able to do what? Do a bit of forecasting based on historical data. Okay. Now, what I want you to think about is just looking at this imaginary spaceship, assuming you are in the seat of this gentleman, and you are running the spaceship, and you want to run it efficiently. Think of this guy's position in a real business case scenario, assuming you are the manager of an organization. A lot of the decisions this gentleman is going to be taking is what you do. And many of you are business leaders, you are managers, supervisors. A lot of the decisions you take are similar to what this guy does. Now, if you bring all of what the guy does and all the components of the spaceship, that helps the guy to make informed decisions so that the spaceship is not crashed. So if it crashes, the crew will die. The pilot may also die. So how efficiently can this pilot steer the ship such that the ship will not crash and the crew members would not die, they will survive? Put yourself in the same position. When you are running a business, when you are managing a business, you are teaching, you are doing exactly what this guy is doing. You have to manage your people in such a way that, listen, talk about management information systems. We are looking at several different components that will help us as managers to do what? Basically make informed business decisions. So all of us, by the end of this course, should be in the position of this guy to be able to manage business resources efficiently so that our spaceship would not what? It will not crash. So from now on, I'll be a bit faster. We talked about what a system is. So if you look at a spaceship, it's a system. But even within the spaceship, the information display, the control panels, they are also subsystems. So we can have a system, we can have a subsystem, we can even have a super or supra system. Okay. And we looked at the differences in terms of whether systems can be what? Abstract or what? Physical or tangible. We gave this example. We also looked at the difference between data, raw facts, information, process, and when we combine all of that to be able to get what? Knowledge. We looked at that, and we looked at some examples too last week in terms of what may be considered as gibberish and what may be considered as what? As meaningful. Then we try to create a distinction between what we mean by information technology, information systems, and information and communication technology. Do you remember? Okay, so I'll quickly just run through them. So looking at the spaceship scenario and looking at this scenario, this is in an organizational setting. In this organizational setting, there are systems in place. There are also people, but not all of them can have access to all the systems, just like the crew members. Not all the crew members can have access to what? The control panel of the ship, but all of them will be doing one thing or the other. So when we say information system, we mean all of them, including what? The people and the procedures that people would follow to make sure that they all survive on the ship. Okay, so we looked at this, and we said that the critical activities in an information system will involve inputting, processing, output, and then the process of feedback. Here, we were critical in understanding what feedback could mean. And we said that it could either be positive or what? Or negative, right? Where we considered negative being corrective and then positive being a reinforcement mechanism. Okay? So this is just a recap and a pictorial representation of how an information system within a particular context, the organizational context, the information system having an external environment and also an internal environment. Then we looked at the elements of defining technology and ICTs, where we indicated that for us to differentiate between information technology, information systems, and information and communication technology, the profound thing is that for ICTs, we are interested in not only the ability of the technology to collect the data, process it, but also to what? To communicate it. Okay. Then we also looked at the three critical or core components of an information system: the organizational, the management, and what? The technical. Here, we were a bit careful. We said that if you look at the 5-factor framework, where we have hardware, software, and then at the other end, we have people and procedures and data in the middle, we categorize it. And we said that if you look at hardware, software, basically the IT aspect, we usually will consider that as the technical part, whilst the other part would be the social part. And based on these demarcations, we say that we can describe an information system as what? A socio-technical system. Yeah, so in an exam, these are the sort of questions I will ask. Explain the concept of an information system as a socio-technical system. So basically what you do is you explain broadly what an information system does. It collects data, processes it, stores it, and later retrieve it maybe for decision making. Inform. No, relax. So when you do this, then you will now name the 5 factors, and then you indicate that these are what? Technical. These are social. You see, so when you have technical, it means you don't have a complete information system. You don't have an information system until the people are part of it. You will hear a lot of questions from me. Yes. Then we also indicated that if you look at the nature of the organization, usually represented by a triangle, those are the apex, the senior level managers, the CEOs, maybe those in the middle, maybe some at the bottom. Usually we see it in 3 core areas: the strategic, the tactical, and the operational. Not so. And we are saying that instead of looking at the organization from this perspective, we could also just look at it in terms of what happens, not where you sit. So you may be the CEO, I may be the gate man. You are at the top, I'm at the bottom. We are saying that the systems we both need are different. But assuming the classification is going to depend on what we do. So me being a security guard, my boss could be the director of security. And maybe you are also director of HR. But you are both at the same level when it comes to the organizational structure because you are both what? Directors. Are you getting it? So instead of looking at where we are placed, we could also look at it in terms of what we do. So that security function will stand alone, HR will stand alone, marketing will also stand alone. And when we look at it from this other perspective, we can argue that we can have a system that is functional. It depends on what it does, not who occupies that position. So later on, I'll be asking for your opinion. In your organization, many of you will be interacting with systems that what you see, your boss doesn't see that. Your boss may only see the summary, but you are putting in the details. Somebody comes to the shop floor to buy stuff. How much each item costs, how many pieces. The CEO is not interested in that. He will be looking at it in terms of the aggregate of the sales for the week, for the day, or for the month, or for the quarter. This is what I'm trying to say. Then, yeah, so this is what we're trying to explain. Yeah, so these are separate business functions, separate information systems can be used to serve those processes, okay? Okay, so we looked at this last week, technology. Okay, then our class discussion on DHL. Yeah. Yes, so let me go back. It isn't just about technology. We need a business perspective about information systems. And this business perspective is very important because if we are considering information systems as an instrument for creating value in absolute terms, we may be wrong. And as business leaders, we should think of it in terms of if we think that only implementing some aspect of the information system would solve our problem. For instance, some kind of hardware or some kind of software, we think that the moment we bring it in, all our problems are solved. This happens a lot in the public sector. Anybody who works in public sector, the government says they are rolling out a particular initiative to do ABC, and then the procurement economy, they go and buy computers, ship it down or ship it up here, install them, and then off they go. Now, the moment they leave, we keep to what we were doing already because we haven't gone through any training. Or maybe the software doesn't even work. Apart from that, there could be what? Misalignment. What we have been doing here all those years, what you have brought, you sat in Accra and you did everything. It doesn't align. So investment in information technology will result to superior returns in several folds, in terms of productivity, in terms of revenue, in terms of our strategic position. We'll look at some specific reasons why one may be very interested in information systems. Now, if you look at the way we have been explaining information, especially in terms of the activities, we said the core activities are input, processing, and this, yes. So we can look at it in terms of what we refer to as a value chain. And when we say a value chain is like some sort of a continuum where something starts from one end and ends at another end. But along that process, bits are added to what was started with. It increases in value until it gets to the final consumer. We can look at the way information systems processes data as some form of a chain, but we will call this the information value chain because when raw data is inputted into a system, it doesn't come out in the way it was. It will come out in more meaningful form and more useful form. So anytime we are talking about information systems, for us, this is the perspective we would adopt. Okay. Then we are also arguing that investing in information technology does not guarantee that you make profit. It's not a guarantee. Can someone give us an example of a scenario where the business owner has jumped into the acquisition of technology? without necessarily considering how it is going to add to its strategic vision, direction, and increase in maybe customers or something. But merely because a competitor has done so. So they also feel that they also need to what? Virtualize. They need to also bring on board computers. At the individual level, it happens a lot. He has bought an iPhone or a smart TV. I also need a smart TV, right? But once I have a smart TV, I don't even know how to connect my mobile phone to my smart TV, connect internet to it, and leverage on the several resources that are. So because someone has done that, so it means that I would, at the individual level, I will have a smart TV, I will have an iPhone or a laptop. But in terms of productivity, I still go to the cafe to give my stuff out, my CV out to be typed for me, and whole other things. It means that you are not getting the full returns from what? From it. So can someone give us an example? Where, yes. Okay. Okay. The training. Okay. Apart from him. Oh. Now they have to come and input everything. And at the end of the day, we always don't get any good outcome from it. Oh. Yeah. Did you hear that? It was just, I like the last part. It was just a waste of money. But the technology will be sitting in the organization. Or why would you consider it as waste of money? Because the technology was there. Why? Okay. I get you. The right things were not done. Waste of money. But there's a reason why you still consider it as a waste. Not because you didn't get the technology. You got what you paid for. They gave you the laptop. They gave you the software. But why are you still saying that it was a waste of money? And what was the purpose? Be specific. That could. Okay. Okay. Exactly. That's what I'm looking for. Productivity. So it could be efficiency. It could be that the way things are being processed, there are always long queues. This is a problem. So when the technology comes, they have delivered, they have gone. But it is not the physical deliverance that you are interested in. You want to reduce the what? The queues. So the main reason why you were paying for the technology was not the laptop or the desktop or the whatever, but because you wanted to ensure that productivity will go up, there will be seamless processing of what? Organizational data so that it can help in making informed management decisions. So we argue that there's considerable variation in the returns firm will get from systems investment because there's considerable variation because I think the battery has gone down. Check here and the dip. Yeah. So just listen to this. We have been using this pointer for ages. I have been told time and time again to get expensive batteries, rechargeable. I've never listened to them. So mostly when I'm teaching, I'll be pointing, this thing will not point. Am I getting the right investment? What other assets should I invest in so that I can get the full returns from this pointer? Yeah, long-lasting battery. So we are saying that for businesses, this long-lasting battery, when I was maybe buying the pointer, I didn't consider the cost of batteries. And I still downplayed it till today. I'm still buying the 2CD one. After 2 lectures, I'm struggling. So investing in this additional asset, the battery, we are saying that it is always very, very important because this particular pointer, we will call it the primary investment. This is the primary investment, but there will be another asset I would have to acquire so that I can get the full returns from this primary investment. This additional asset I will get or invest in is what we call the complementary assets. And we're saying that we can have different kinds of complementary assets. Just taking people on training is an example of an investment in the complementary asset. So invest in technology and the people to make it work properly. This is a perfect example. But I want us to look at different categories of complementary assets. What we may refer to as organizational assets. Your business is completely physical. Now think of it this way. Businesses, when we were growing up, businesses were entirely brick and mortar, physical. Then at some point the internet came, some are now online, partially online. They would still have physical presence. There are other businesses completely, you will never find their office. Completely what? Virtual, right? Now, if you want to move from, say, a completely physical to a completely virtual business, you want to adopt that model. It means that you have to invest in a lot of things. What possible thing could you invest in to move your business from being face-to-face to being online? What will you invest in? Yeah, maybe you need reliable internet connectivity, right? So data, yes. Yeah, you need a reliable software as well, okay? Yeah? Hardware, the computers, you will need that as well. So when we are investing in such a case, moving our business from one direction to the other, we will be investing in some form of complementary assets we will call what? Organizational assets. In the example she gave, they were already doing the same processes, but they felt that they needed to streamline those processes. So they invested in technology such that they can have what? Efficient business processes. Investing to ensure you have efficient business processes will also be what? Investing in an organizational asset as an example of a complementary asset. Then we also have managerial assets. Anybody here who is a manager? Yes. Have you ever taken a decision where your subordinates have felt that without you being the manager, we wouldn't be where we are? It's just a yes or no answer. Don't explain to us. So she says yes. Have you ever been compensated for that initiative? How have you felt for not being compensated? You? Okay, so you are the owner. But have you ever taken some time off yourself to just pat yourself and say that, look, I'm doing so well, so I need that holiday. I'm going to Black Box, or I'm taking a trip to Accra to do, yeah, just spend on yourself just as some form of motivation or compensation. Have you done that? No. Almost all of us in our various organizations, it's a developing country thing. We don't really see that people would bring in very wonderful ideas and they are not recognized. When I say recognize, I want us to look at it in terms of some form of what? Compensation or recognition. Maybe even, what's the name? A citation, then a little ceremony, and then they give it to you and say that thanks so much for doing this. If an organization, that you are an asset to that organization. As business leaders, we are considered managerial assets. And we need to be given incentives for what? Our management what? Innovation. So if an organization decides that they want to invest in that, it means that anytime you are sleeping, you'll be thinking of what? New business ideas to drive, yes, innovative ways. You'll be thinking, what is the latest technology in this field that our business can rely on to do better? But if you are not compensated, you won't go the extra mile. Then teamwork and collaborative work environment. Technology is now all over the place. In some organizations, they are not even leveraging on free BIS, free technologies to ensure that workers can follow. Look, one particular example is WhatsApp group. So organizations, they don't even have, for team working, WhatsApp group. So the manager gets up in the morning, if you want something, he will start calling people. Meanwhile, if you bring them together, there are several platforms now. It will be easier for you to do what? This leveraging on technology, free technologies like this, started with having email groups. These days, not many organizations still have email groups because we are more reliant on what? Social networking platforms. Then social assets. Social assets. look, if there is no proper network, you invest in technology, your business will suffer. Those in the telco sector, network challenges. Network challenges. I'm not sure how the telcos charge, I'm not sure how they charge businesses or how they manage the telecommunication infrastructure. But assuming there is no continuous investment to improve that sector, you can imagine the effect on. So even at the regional or national level, governments can invest in social assets just to make sure that individuals and businesses thrive. So at that level, they will also be considering those social assets, investment in infrastructure, investment in electricity as examples of complementary social assets. Very important, complementary assets and the primary assets. Okay, now we are almost done with this part. If you look at the information systems field, you may be wondering, well, what kind of field is that? This is a non-technical field. And last week I indicated that we will not be doing anything on programming or learning how to network, nothing like that. We just want to see what kind of technologies are out there. How can business people rely on technology to do what? To make better decisions. So whichever field you are coming from, and if you look at us here, some are from the sciences, there are sociologists, psychologists, HR, whatnot. And the same happens for those who want to specialize in this particular area. They come from different aspects. Okay. We have already looked at the technical and the social or behavioral and the socio-technical systems. Now, I want to ask one last question before we move to today's lecture. Yes. Why do you think an organization should invest in technology? Strategic business objectives of information systems. Why do you think businesses should invest in technology? Proficiency. Efficiency. Okay, this efficiency. Yes, all right. To increase productivity. What else? So checks and balances, still efficiency, productivity. Okay, any other? Easing the process. Okay, so you want to transform the business processes so that there will be a seamless flow. Any other? Okay, quality production, so productivity. Yes. Cost reduction. Okay, yes. Okay. Okay. So you are talking about relationship, right? Okay. Maybe you deal with your customers better. Any other? Yeah. Be able to expand into environments you would ordinarily not have been able to. Anybody here who has used a communication center before? Phone booth. You go to a communication center, they have several booths. When was the last time you did that? And where did you do it? Where did you go to do that? And one was at Tripoli. Yes. Damasco. Any popular one in town? The post office. The post office. There's another popular one in town. Yeah, prisons, ib.com. So assuming these people, their business was solely on this thing. MTN came. So let's put that aside and look at internet cafes. There was no way you could have access to the internet if you were not among the elite class. You should be able to, those days you should have been able to afford, have a telephone line up to your house, have a computer before you can what? And then you pay. Elite. Now, proliferation of what? Mobile devices. Everybody has got access to what? A telephone. So communication center, instead of going and queuing and going into a booth, you can make your phone call. Internet, you don't need an internet cafe. You can do everything. So what happens to those businesses? So assuming they have collapsed, assuming such businesses still wanted to survive, what should they have done? Yeah? They should have diversified. Okay. They should have been innovative. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. They've taken over that thing. Yes. Post office. They started with some innovative ideas, but they were not innovative in leveraging on technology to transform what they would. And those businesses have been taken over. Have they survived it? Have they survived it? So let's also look at TV repairers. I want us to be as plain as TV repairers. If you were repairing the hunchback TVs and you don't innovate to go and learn how to repair smart TVs, people are no longer, the producers are not even producing that TV. Are you getting it? So if you are not innovative, what will happen to you, your business? So to be innovative, to stay in business, what will you do? So you need to invest in technology, training, and many other things. So one of the main reasons or strategic objectives of information systems is survival. It's survival. Yes. Look, you'll be surprised for a relative in the village to call you and ask for a smartphone. Somebody's laughing. Haven't you encountered that? And you are wondering, you are in the village, what do you need a smartphone for? Yes, because they have all realized that, if I have some talent, even in the village, and I do TikTok, even people in America can recognize me. Are you getting it? So they want to survive in that global digital environment, and they want to stay and be counted. So they need it. So buy that smartphone. So survival is very key. Survival. What else? I want us to group them. Operational excellence. With operational excellence comes quite a number of things. Can someone give an example of operational excellence? Operational excellence. Yes. Cost efficiency. Yes. How can technology help us to reduce costs? If you implement a technology that will reduce queuing, yeah, a technology that reduces queuing, like us, and I'm always proud to use the School of Business as an example. How many people are online? Check, about 15, 12, yeah, they are online. Based on circumstances we are not interested in knowing, we say that if you are faced with such a scenario, still join us. Even that particular scenario or circumstance is so intense that you cannot join us. After the lecture, we'll send you a link, and then you will watch the video. And we're saying that even if you can't watch the video because you are always on the move, we'll give you an audio so that you can play it in your car whilst you are and still listen to the lecture. So that when we treat people this way, it means the way traditionally we have been operating is changed, is being transformed. Operational excellence. Well, how are we doing this? By leveraging on what? Technology. How much are we paying for that technology? Let's look at the School of Business case. Apart from the Zoom account which the university has paid for, our YouTube channel is free. WhatsApp is free. Then maybe the resources, the books we are using, which are purchased. So you see that even with minimal resources, we can leverage minimal funds. We can leverage on free technologies to what? To achieve operational excellence, improving efficiency, and getting higher profits. Okay? Then another one, if we want to bring on board a new product, we have been operating, but we want to now start another new line of business. we want to add another product, we may invest in some technology or some information systems. And when I say information systems, I'm always thinking of this. We may invest in computers. We may also hire people or employ people to join us so that we'll be able to roll out new products, new services, and then new business models. When MTN started, they were not doing mobile money. Suddenly, mobile money came. They didn't start the mobile money service with the quick loan, but they realized that they can go into the microfinance sector as well. Are you getting it? Continuously leveraging on technology to bring on board new products. Then, have you ever called MTN or any other organization, their call center, and they mention your name? Yeah, before they deal with you, they mention you. MTN does that. How do you feel? Belonging, recognized. Yes. How do you think they are able to know that you are the one calling? Look, yes. Huh? Because you are probably using the number, the MTN number you are calling maybe to complain or inquire about to call. So when you call, I don't know how their front end works, but the system is able to tell that this is the person calling, and then they can address you by that. So you feel belonged. And then you call another teleco, and they don't even know who is calling. And they ask you who, they don't even welcome you well. They ask you, who are you? Or what do you want? Are you getting it? So, and in the end, they don't solve your problem. You end the call by saying that now, look how you put the problem. Ghana Education Service. Books. Yes. Okay. Yeah, a clocking system. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Quiet. When you are leaving to sign. Yeah. Yes. Quiet, please. Yes, yes. In the system. They are being manipulated. Yes. Yeah. Sign for you. Yes. 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 Electronic. No, you can't. Fingerprint is unique to everybody, so it is difficult to do that. Yes. So customer, that relates to customer intimacy. So those you are serving and those you are also buying from, vendors, how you deal with them and how you use technology to deal with them, you can improve on it by leveraging on what? Technology. And this may be one other major reasons why an organization may invest that. Then improve decision making. In fact, even in our definition of what? The management information system, it ends with this. Yes, it's very critical. Okay. Then this one. Can someone explain that competitive advantage? When we say competitive advantage, yes, what can you do completely differently from, so that you can do better, doing it differently and not worse, so differently, but what? Better, yeah. So attain competitive advantage over your colleagues. Then we also mentioned, we already mentioned survival as one of the ways. So an easily examinable area. And it's easy to remember. This one, even if they wake you up, you'll be able to remember. Okay. So that brings us to the end of last week's lecture. We will now start this week's lecture. So yeah, so let me stop. resume there. Okay. Okay. Yes. 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 He's saying that technology, we are just on and on and on about how we can leverage on technology to do better. That technology can also be a bad master. Yes, it can also be a bad master. So, in fact, when we get to the issue of security of information systems, the point he's making will be more profound. We'll talk about how systems can be very vulnerable and how it can lead to the collapse of a business. So it can also be a bad master. We'll look at that. Yes, you are right on point. So in the next 45 minutes, I want us to look at e-business and collaboration. E-business and collaboration. And in this topic, these are the things we want to discuss. We want to try to understand basically what we mean by a business process and how our understanding of a business process can shape our understanding of information system. Are you okay? Then we'll also look at how we'll build on something we introduced in the first lecture, how systems serve the different management groups in a business and how the systems link the overall enterprise and can help in improving organizational performance. Then we'll also touch on the issue of collaboration. How can we work together by relying on technology? So we'll look at collaboration and then we'll touch on social business, leveraging on social media networks to conduct some form of business and what kind of technology should you use. Then we'll look at the role of the information systems function in a business. There are many businesses or many organizations out there who have a role for the information systems function. So they have an MIS department because of the importance they attach to the information systems function. In another department, in another organization, they don't care. There is nothing like an information system. So the manager or the accountant, he's even the information system guy. He does everything. Yeah, they don't attach, some organizations don't attach rules to it. Now let's look at this picture. This picture refers to a farm, a modern or a modernized farm, where the farm leverages heavily on technology. Is everything okay? This is a farm. A farm. Yes. It leverages heavily on technology. Look at the lady sitting there with a computer. She's gone to farm. In our part of the world, if you say you are going to farm, people will not expect that. Yeah. So the farm is called Green Grow Farms. So imagine this farm, which is a modern agricultural, the farm is run by a modern agricultural company, and they aim to change or transform sustainable farming. And when we say sustainable farming, not like our grandfathers or fathers have been farming. After the farming season, they take their foodstuffs, it won't even feed them. No, we are looking at farming that will go on and on for generations. And this lady called Sarah is the one managing the farm. Now, the farm has quite a number of interesting things, technologies embedded. I want you to look at the picture carefully. So that when we are looking, you see this thing? That's a drone. This one is a drone. Yes. So another one, a helicopter or whatever, spraying the farm. Look at this, a tractor with so many gadgets. Now, what happens on this farm? Let's look at this. The first one, IoT sensors. When we say IoT, what do we mean? Internet of Things. Internet of Things. Now, anybody here with a smart fridge at home? Some of you have microwaves that are smart, meters that are smart, right? when your meter is getting too low, maybe it can send you a text message, or maybe when your fridge, you have stocked a lot of vegetables or whatever, if the heat is too much, the fridge will start making some noise. Microwave, you set it 1 minute. When it is 1 minute, it will alert you. All these they are embedded technologies in them, so connected in a way. So this kind of sensors in the farm, they transmit real-time data on soil moisture, temperature, and crop health. So they are monitoring. If they monitor the crop and the crop is about dying, they will say that this one hasn't got enough water, so there's going to be a drought or something. It will send. Then there's also a drone, and drones which are equipped with cameras to provide aerial imagery for crop monitoring. Yes? What kind of farm is this? A predictive analytics engine processes this data to optimize irrigation and fertilizer. So they have laid pipes all across the farm, so that if the sensors realize that some of the crops need water, is about dying, then it will trigger this predictive analytics engine, and then it will spray Then a supply chain management model which tracks produce from the farmer or the farm to the store, ensuring freshness. So they won't bring your foodstuffs to your store and then you open it and realize that they are rotten. No. Then they also have a customer-facing application which allows consumers to trace the journey of their produce. You know, there are a category of people in the West who say they don't eat anything apart from organic. They don't eat stuff that they have used chemicals, so they are organic. So they can trace where the food is coming from, whether they are organic farmers. So this app will help them to do that. Now, this system also does something else. It serves different management levels. The operational level managers, the farm workers receive daily tasks based on sensor data. So those who are managing the farm. In fact, these are the real farmers, the laborers. So they also have some devices, and if weeds are gathering here, they will know what to do. Then there are middle level management, who are farm managers, and they analyze trends to make seasonal planning decisions, right? And then the senior management, who are the executives, and they use predictive models for long-term strategy. So they will monitor yield, they will monitor growth, and they say that, look, the rate at which our plants have grown in this particular farm, next year, if we plant, the growth will prolong, and the yields may be lower. They do all these things, and then they advise. Now, what we are basically looking at is an integrated system which does all of this. Yes. The rainfall, yes. They are the senior level managers. If you look at the way the weather is, they also use a lot of sensors and a lot of satellite data. So they have satellites that gather data about weather behavior and whatnot from space to do that. Yes. So the system does quite a number of things to help in improving performance by reducing water usage, optimizing harvest times, and minimizing waste. It also enables collaboration between agronomists, supply chain managers, and marketing teams. Now, the boss, Sarah. Sarah is the boss, Chief Information Officer. And her role involves aligning the IT strategy with business goals, ensuring system security and data privacy, managing IT infrastructure and resources, and facilitating digital innovation and transformation. Okay, now, in this particular case study, you would have realized that several processes are embedded in farming activities. Several. In fact, if we were to count them, all of us will have an activity to count in the farm, from weeding to spraying to harvesting to transportation and whatnot. many of them. But this system we are talking about is integrated in nature such that all those processes or activities are what? Linked together. So we are saying that in the context of information system, we should always think about the business as comprising of different business what? Processes. And how, if we bring on board a good information system, it can what? Integrate this in a holistic manner. So based on that, I'll ask a very lame question. What is a business process? Give a typical example of a business process. I'll start. Business process, teaching. Yes. One. Yeah, it's a business activity. An idea generation, proposal writing. In fact, there are two processes there. Idea generation. Before you can generate a business idea, you have to brainstorm, read a lot of things, think. It's an activity. Writing the proposal, you have to consult several references, like funding sources, before you can do that. To do this, you are going through quite a number of what? Steps. But the steps should be what? Logical and related. So all the processes we are looking at, we can call the individual activities in the firm are individual business processes. A business process will involve quite a number of things: the flow of materials, the flow of information, or the flow of knowledge. And we're saying that it should be tied to one particular functional area, or it may also be what? Cross-functional. So we can have a business process that is occurring only in the sales department. We can also have a business process occurring in the accounts department and the sales department. For instance, a business sale of a mobile phone to somebody. It's a business process, right? But happens in the sales department. Now, when you pay, what happens? Do you pay to the sales guy? No, you go to accounts to pay. So you see that this particular, so now when we say that sale and receipt of cash from a customer, that is a business activity that is cross-functional because it cuts across the sales function and the finance function. The first example cuts across only one function. So a business process may be tied to one functional area, or it may be what? Cross-functional. So if we're saying that everything in the business involves a business process, then if I want to define a business to somebody, I can just say that a collection of business processes, that's a business. Simply. I won't ask this in an example, like what is a business? No. We are trying to build on something. Business processes may also be assets or it may be liabilities. Do you agree? Yes. Because it can lead to the generation of assets, cash, or it can lead to the creation of what? A liability. Yes, that's why if you take a loan, go to the bank and a business goes to the bank to take a loan. It has led to what? A liability. Okay. Yes. His facilities. Yes. So a lot of, he engaged in quite a number of business processes. In the end, it was closed down. He's asking, is that a failure? We need a lot of metrics to be able to determine whether Indom is a failure or not. Because he still has got his assets. I remember a couple of days ago, he was on TV saying that they should give him back his land. He visited some of his facilities. And you see that a bit of renovation, some of them will come back to life. I wouldn't consider that as a failure. I wouldn't consider, but that is at a very broader level. If we go deep into the business, we will now be able to tell the different smaller business processes. Okay. Now, examples of business processes, which relates to different functional areas. So in a manufacturing and production environment, assembling a product is an example of what? A business process. Sales and marketing, looking for customers is an example. Finance, creating financial statements, HR, hiring employees. So all these are examples. Now let's look at this. The order fulfillment process. This process is a typical example of selling something to somebody, a business selling a product. Now, the sale of the product, if you look at it, it cuts across how many functions? 3. The sales function, accounting, and manufacturing. So they are saying that at the sales, they will get an order, submit an order. Maybe you go online, place an order, submit it. Then it goes to the finance, they will check. And this order you want to buy on credit. So they will do what? They will check your credit worthiness. So they will do a credit check, approve it, and then generate an, when they approve it, they may even start assembling because they know, oh, who can supply, and later it is shipped to you. If you look at this as an activity, this process is what? Cross-functional, because it cuts across. So we are saying that if you look at only this, that's one activity or process, which is what? Just unifunctional, just one functional area. So how can information technology or information systems, much more specifically, improve business processes? Some of you have mentioned some of them already. Efficiency, right? And we use the example of the queuing as an example. I want you to look at this in two main ways. How technology can improve business processes. If you have been doing things traditionally, the way you have been doing things, and you think that technology can come in to improve it, it means the technology, if there were duplications, the technology will do what? It will remove the duplication so that when people come, they are served what? Faster, quicker. Another alternative is that you just say that, no. The way we have been producing, this product is no longer good for business. We put the product aside, bring in technology, change your product. So two things. Either you just manage your processes and streamline it, or you completely do what? You transform completely. So we have what we call an incremental impact, increasing efficiency of existing processes. It is incremental, right? You have been doing that, but you now want to do it better. As opposed to this one, enabling entirely new processes, transformational. You are changing everything to new processes. These are the two main reasons, two main ways it can improve business processes. Now we go back to our diagram. Let's go back to our diagram, this diagram. So we have this. Who are here? Those guys. Strategic. And then they are the tactical guys, right? So we call them middle level management. And then operational. This is when we are considering level. If we are considering functionality, it means sales can be here, sales can be here, sales can be here. So if we are considering functionality, we can have something like this. We can have sales, we can have production, accounts, HR, and many more. So you will see that function cuts across all levels. Function cuts across all levels. But when we are looking at the level, what happens? Huh? Does it also cut across all functions? Am I confusing you? Function cuts across all levels. Does a level cut across all functions? So yes with yes or no with an explanation. If sales is here, function, then it means that there can be a sales middle level manager who's into sales, right? There can also be a sales director. So sales cuts across what? The levels. Now we are not talking about function. We are talking about the fact that somebody is the CEO, somebody is the manager, and somebody is the cashier. So my controversial question is, does it cut across function? I don't have the answer. Does it cut across? So if someone is here, strategic level, some of the things this guy here will do touch on sales, production, accounts, and HR. Okay? If somebody's at the middle level here, some of the things he does, will it cut across sales, production, accounts, HR? Either directly or indirectly, it will have. So it works both ways. Okay, so this is what I was going to do. So we are saying that those guys who are here, what they do within the business or in the organization, it is routine. Once it's routine, you understand. When they are going to work, the guys who are here, when they are going to work, they know that today I'm going to teach, because that's what he does. After teaching, he goes home. Tomorrow when he's going again, he knows he's going to teach. If headmaster is going to school, headmaster doesn't know that. He doesn't even know what will confront him. He gets there, he realizes that if it's a village school, he goes there, he realizes that when they were coming, when the kids were coming to school, one of the children, it rained, yeah. So he went and there was nobody there. Or some of the teachers, they didn't come. So he has to teach. Are you getting it? This guy, his work is unpredictable. This one is predictable. Medium predictability is what is here. Let's look at it in terms of reporting. This guy collects the data. This guy, in the middle-level management, they write medium-term reports, which may be an aggregation of what? The data collected here for the top. Are you getting it? But this guy, he doesn't do any of those things. He relies on this data and the reports to what? To make a decision. So it is this guy who will now decide that, this branch, you are not doing well. Next year, we'll close you down. When you, my common example has always been this. You go into, now I will use the China, the EU more. Recently, I went there and I was asking the girls in red that I needed something, the doorbell. And they said, they will go and ask. And I, don't you work here? They said, no, I'm coming. They went and came back and said it's not there. How come they didn't know? And where will you place them? Why do you think they didn't know? They are not in charge of that. What are they not in charge of? That's not their function. What is their function? You see that those shop floor workers, they don't know when the stock is going down. They don't know. That's why he had to go and ask. So when you go and ask, then you say, oh, let me go and ask my boss. It's because the boss is at this level. It is possible that even if they ask this boss, he won't know. Because it is this guy, yes, he monitors the stock. They do sales, he monitors the stock, and this guy calls the shots, right? So we're saying that because of the routine nature, the kind of system they will use has a different name, function, as opposed to those here. So let's even look at those here. They can be in two categories, supervisors and the managers. We can have some supervisors here, and we can have the managers here, and the executives here. So Malcolm, you would see some supervisor, and then when you go to the back, after the tail, somebody too is sitting there. Or maybe that's the supervisor, but there's also a manager. I think MTN too, it happens. Go there, somebody is there, will usher you in, sit here, go there, and then somebody attends to you. Sometimes they will escalate the issue and say that, oh, I have to move it. So wait a bit, someone will come and attend to you. It is because of this structure. So we are saying that here, because it is routine, the sort of system they use is called a transaction processing system. A transaction processing system, or TPS. It serves operational managers and staff. Why are we calling them managers? Because unfortunately, based on my example so far, it appears I am denigrating those guys here. But there may be people here who are also managers, operational level manager. Yes, but it doesn't change the fact that his work is routine. So they will use the TPS. If you go to, you want to board an aircraft, there are some people there, right? Who will check your ticket, make sure, yeah. Where will you classify them? Have you ever tried to board and they will tell you that you have a legitimate ticket, and they tell you that there's a problem with your ticket? Wait, if some big man has bought it like that, it hasn't happened to you. So you wait, and then they cannot explain. Then they will now call somebody. Exactly, the supervisor to come and tell you that so and so, because they cannot tell by the interface they have what exactly happened, because they see that that's a legitimate ticket. But what is happening? Okay. So they record daily and routine transactions, example, sales order entry, payroll, shipping, and then they allow managers to monitor status of operations and relations with external environment, serves predefined structured goals and decision making. It doesn't mean that the people here, they have no say, but what they say is structured. Like here, no helmet, no entry. It means the security guard makes a decision. Sometimes some people don't have helmets, and they will say, you are warned, this is your last time. You can enter. They have made a decision. Or you have a helmet, but the way you are rushing in, they will still what? They are making decisions there. And at that level there, the booth there, they also have managers who may be at that level. Then we can also have another system. Have you heard of the term business intelligence? We will look at the other ones, but this is an aside. Have you heard of the term business intelligence? Huh? What do you think it means? If you are operating a corner shop, listen to this. If you are operating a corner shop, when I say corner shop, like container, always, maybe some people come, they buy some things, and then you have to, when they buy maybe let's say they buy bread, and you know bread is always at the counter. So they buy bread, then they buy maybe sugar or tea, but your sugar or tea is at the back, and your bread sales is drastically increasing. So it means that the number of times you have to walk from the front to the back to go and bring sugar or is increasing. You are wasting a lot of time. What will you do? You bring the other ones and put it there. Why? Why are you doing that? What informed you to do that? He's saying the intelligence. I like that. He's saying it is the past data. What has been happening? They buy this alongside this one. That is why sometimes you go into a shop and they have changed everything. The way it's structured, Malcolm, they do that a lot. They have moved everything all over the place because the data they have gathered over the years and analyzed has indicated that they should make a better decision in terms of the way the items are arranged. When we rely on data, yes. What do we? Okay. Okay. I like his question. Why are we calling it intelligence? Can someone remember what we meant by knowledge? Assimilation of something. Data, past experiences. Yes. The experiences. Yes. Yes. And when someone is knowledgeable, what usually do we say? So they are related terms. That's why we're saying that relying on past data to make better decisions. But this time, when we are doing that, we are relying on the data which we have been relying before, but we're not relying on technology, software, to help us organize and analyze the data so that we can make better and informed decisions. So another category, the guys here, management, they deal with medium to what? Long-term reports. So all the sales that has happened during the day, they can submit a summary report about what? Branch performance. Either daily, weekly, or quarterly. They do that. And the system they use is what we refer to as the management information system. So now listen to this interesting thing. Well, I don't know if it will be interesting to you. The course you may come across a course titled Management Information System. But we are saying today that management information system is a type of information system that serves a particular level in the organization, the management. Are you getting it? We are also saying that apart from those management information systems, there may be other systems that will just help either the supervisor or the manager in furtherance of their decision making. And we call that decision support systems. The guys at the top, they rely on a system called executive support system. These guys, do you know what they see? I hope someone will be able to give us an example. I will use my personal experience. When I go to the UDS system, I am able to see summary of applications. How many people have applied for each program? How many people have paid? I can tell the numbers. When the HODs do that, they can see it. Are you getting the difference? So I am using an executive support system. So even when an HOD system is down, I can tell him that, oh, 10 people have now applied for your program. I can tell because I get the aggregate data. Let's flip it upside down. When your results are accumulated by lecturers, what do? They feed it into the system. And then the HOD verifies. And then the dean verifies. When I'm going to verify, the system will present to me a table telling me that this percentage got A+, this percentage got A. The HOD cannot see that. The lecturer who uploaded it cannot also see that. So if I am going to make my report to the VC, I can say that based on the system, so and so course, this percentage of people got this percentage got this, because I am using a system that is not supposed to give me the grim details. Because the VC doesn't need those details. He needs me to tell him whether they should expand or close down. How much have we made? How much have we lost? Are you getting it? These are the different categories of systems. Yes. Yes. Exactly. Yes. So, very, very intelligent question. If you, assuming we are looking at a system based on an integration of function and level. So it doesn't matter, it's sales, whether it's accounting, whether it's HR. I'm also a senior manager, and someone is also operation level, someone is CEO. So depending on your access level, what you see is different from, depending on where you sit in the organization, your access level is different from where the other person sits. Are you getting it? So when you look at this carefully, it is a mixture of what? Function and level. What do you do? One, where do you sit? Are you getting it? So somebody can be at a very lower level, operational level, but the access he has to a system, the VC may not have it. Do you agree with me? Security. Yes. They can lock the gate. If it's an automated gate, they can lock it. It is only their boss who may have that access, but the VC may not have that access. But the VC sits at the top. Are you getting it? And that's what the confusion I was trying to create. Function cuts across, and sometimes the level 2 cuts across that. Okay. What time have we? Yeah? Okay. So let's look at some interesting terms, and then we can go home. I just want to introduce some things. Quick. Are you tired? You're tired. Okay. It won't be long. You know, one thing these guys have been teasing me about is when I say it will be a short lecture, or let's just have a meeting, 30 minutes. They will say 30 minutes. So I said, oh, 15 minutes. He says 15 minutes. 15 minutes, I'll wrap up. So, okay. Now that I am being at, what is collaboration? Let's look at this quickly. Collaboration, because we said we're going to look at business collaboration. Collaboration means Collaboration means to collaborate. Every year I give this story. Huh? Excellent. That's it. Every year I give this story. Our first year accounting class, SHS1, Damascus, we had this accounting lecturer or teacher. So he came to class and he was asking us, oh, what is accounting? From JSS. So we're all green looking at him. Say, you don't know accounting? And you are here to do accounting. What is accounting? We're quiet and say, to understand what accounting means, you must understand what a transaction means. So what is a transaction? We're still quiet. We don't know accounting. We don't know transaction. And you are in accounting class. What is a transaction? And I said, okay. Transaction means to transact. And accounting means to account. So that's what he was saying. Collaboration means to collaborate. Two or more people, excellent, Asia, working together. It can be temporary or what? Permanent, short-lived, long-term, can be formal, it can be informal, yes. The importance of collaboration, we all know it. Based on the nature of our work, we have to what? Collaborate, yes. Depending on the scope of the organization we work in. For instance, if you are working with MTN, there's no way you would work without collaborating with others from other regions. Or you work in an institution like UDS, you will have to. Also, the way our culture of working is changing, so we need to collaborate more. When I say our culture of working is changing, and this was tested by the pandemic. Yeah, people couldn't go to work, so but you still needed to be paid. So the organizations changed the work culture so that we could work what? Remotely. Today, we are experiencing the benefits of that because we are able to teach and people are away and they are joining us. So all of these are avenues that can be used to support why we collaborate. Now, collaboration, interestingly, these days, many of us engage in what we call social business to collaborate. Anybody here who has ever advertised an item on his or his status? I do that every day. If you have my contact, you will see that constantly I'm posting School of Business flyer. Yes. Some may say that, all the time you are worrying us. But if you consider the number of contacts you have, you cannot underestimate the effect of that. Because look, assuming I post or you post, and two people view it. One is in Accra and one is in Bolga. The one in Accra belongs to another platform of maybe 1,000 contacts. The one in Bolga too. And he also posted or posted on their page. And they post it. That we usually call, it usually leads to what we call crowd sourcing. Crowd. Before you realize, it's all over the place. These days, the common term they use is what? Before you realize, it has gone, yes. So social business. If you advertise your business on social media, basically you are conducting this because you are leveraging on social media networks to promote and engage in what? In business. These are social networking platforms to engage employees, customers, and suppliers. How are we doing that here? The moment you apply, you submit your application, we have access to your data. So the first thing we'll do is before you get admission is to pick your number, your name, and add you to our platform, applicants platform, and tell you what is going on constantly. We'll tell you what is going on. When your admissions are issued, we notify you. So the moment you apply, you will become what? Part of the family, whether you get, and interestingly, sometimes some don't get admission, but we have added them. But later on, they will call us and say that, but the way you handle the whole case, I'm happy. So we are engaging in what? Social business. Now, if you want to collaborate, you must know two things. So let's look at this diagram and probably end. The first one is collaboration capability, collaboration technology. They are saying that these two can lead to collaboration quality, and overall, it can lead to firm performance. Performance in terms of you can survive. If your firm has survived something, it's performance. Performance in terms of what? Customer-supplier relationship, in terms of what? Competition and survival and many others. Now, let's look at what we mean by collaboration capability. If your organization is characterized by fear, so that people are not open to talk about things, collaboration will be what? Difficult. Can someone give an example? You don't need to mention your organization. Collaboration can be difficult. There are some places, yes. Mm. Mm. Nobody can talk back. Yeah, there's no open culture. So you are bound for failure because people will not tell you when you are going wrong. So there's a need for what? An open culture. And the approach we have taken by adding you and constantly being in touch with you, that's what we are trying to promote. Yeah, I remember last year, that platform, I think at some point, there were some issues. The students just came back to the platform and put it there. This is not right. Maybe lunch today, the lunch is terrible. They will come to the office and tell us what today. Yeah. But they will do it in a way, jovial manner. But you pick, as a manager, you will pick the signals that sometimes it's about the lecturer. They will come and complain that, oh, this as for this lecturer, if you could do something about it. But because it involves a colleague, you also have to do it in a very decorous way. Other than that, if there is no open culture, students or customers can be pushed to the limit and they cannot complain. But what can that lead to? Loss of customers, loss of sales. In the end, your business will collapse. Decentralized structure. If you are the boss and all decisions, everything, you want to do it. Collaboration, it won't work. Collaboration capability, it will be difficult. You have an example? Don't ask it. And ask it. That's not how you want it. Yeah, so I will even put it under the open culture. When you have an open culture, you don't even need to consult him. You can just put up your hand and say it. And he will not be offended. He will not also see it as an attack on his management ability. Then breadth of collaboration. Yes.
I thought we were looking at collaboration between two different organizations.
So collaboration can happen within, it can be within, it can also be, yes. So we can have intra, that is within, or inter-organizational collaboration. Now, yes. Okay, so he's saying that context is very important. Context, yeah, depends on the organization. Hey, I get you now. I didn't get it from the beginning. Excellent example. In command and control, we call them command and control organizations. The security services. It's a yes or yes. There are some questions when they ask you, you have to you have to answer. You have to answer yes. Yeah. So and that leads us to this point: breadth of collaboration. In some organizations, the manager can have something doing with a lower level worker. Just be discussing with them. How do you think we can do this? Can we work together? And maybe when they have teams on projects, they can bring a lower level worker as part of it. In some organizations, the breadth is just straight line. If you are not at that level, you cannot become part of that. You cannot become part of that team. It's either HODs or HODs. But you can have a team of HODs, and then you bring somebody who is not even holding any position. Because you feel that he has nothing to lose, he can say anything. Are you getting it? So sometimes that mixture, in terms of the breadth of collaboration, can also enhance collaboration capability. Now, when we talk about collaboration technology, there are different types. Can you mention some of them? WhatsApp, Facebook, they are all examples of collaboration. Email, all of, yes, Teams and whatnot. So use of collaboration and social technology for implementations and operations. We are doing a lot of that. Use of collaboration and social technology for strategic planning. WhatsApp, for instance, we are using WhatsApp for strategic planning. So this platform we have created, when you were coming in, we will never dissolve the platform even when you graduate. We'll just change it to alumni platform. How you get it? We'll just change it. So whilst other universities or other faculties are struggling to get their alumni, we are building our alumni from what? From the beginning. Are you getting it? So because of that open culture, later on, when we come and say that collaborate or contribute so that we buy something, what will you do? You will easily contribute. Is that not the case? So we are saying that when these two are present, when an organization has got the capability in terms of open culture, decentralized structure and whatnot, and the technology, the quality of collaboration will be high. And that can lead to what? Increased firm performance. Last one. Last one. So let's look at this. Time, space, collaboration, and social tool matrix. When we say collaborating, are we collaborating now? Yes, we said collaboration means to collaborate. So I'm standing here, a teacher, and then we are sitting down as students, and we are collaborating. But our collaborations happens at the same time and the same place, right? So with this matrix, we are saying that when we have collaboration at the same time and the same place, the same time, we call it, if it's the same time, we could say it is synchronous collaboration. If it is different time, it's asynchronous. So if you record the lecture and you go home and watch it, it's asynchronous. So here, those who are with me, here, is same place, co-located, but same time, face-to-face what? Interactions. But some of our colleagues, they are at a different place, but what? So we are having remote interaction. Sometimes can be teaching like this, someone will unmute and ask a question. Yes, because the person is at a different place, but we are doing the same thing. Then we can also have asynchronous, different time, but same place, right? So if we move this here, we have same place, different time. How can that happen? Team rooms, large public displays, shift work, group work, project management. Different time, same place. If somebody is in the US and has joined our class, this may be their 9 o'clock. So it will be, which one will it be? Different time, different place. It will be different time, different place. It can also be same place and everybody has gone virtual. Where would that be? Are you confused? So assuming all of you were online and I was also in the office. So it will be the same time. So it will be, yes. So it will be different. To the same time. So your lecture with the business economics. Different time, oh, different place. Oh. So listen to this. Those who join virtually, they are at the same place with him because they both are virtual. But their time zones may be different. So whenever we are, so why is this important? Why is it important? I always like to ask that question. So why are we, MBA, why are we interested in this? Time, space, collaboration, and social metrics. I once lost an opportunity because of this. They invited me for an interview, and I read the time wrongly. And I got up, did my tie, sat in front of my computer, and I was waiting. No show. Then I went and checked my email. Oh, they said they have waited for over an hour. And I wasn't showing up. And I said, they were in somewhere. Yeah, so it is important because anytime we are collaborating, the context of the collaboration, where we are, influences a lot of things, especially the overall performance of the collaborative team. These things are very time and place, very important. That is why this has informed us going forward. Because you see, we record the lectures, but sometimes because we are all at the same time, and some have joined virtually, sometimes there are disruptions to the collaboration. So we say that in order to avoid the disruptions, we saw that last year. Why not invest in some technology such that we can just have a room well furnished? The lecturer will go there, sit, and record the lecture. No noise, no interruption, complete lecture. We'll make it available virtually so that the students can have access to it. So it will be, you see that it will be different place and time for the lecturer, the student to different place and time. But later, when they come to class, after having watched it, so maybe weekday, we make it available, you watch it and you come to class. The lecture will not be like this because you have watched it. So it will be like some discussion. Oh, you mentioned this in the video and I don't quite understand. Can you, a lecture that is supposed to have been done in 2 hours, you can do it in what? 1 hour, and everybody will go. That brings us to the end of today's session. So I think I honored my promise. Is it 15 minutes? Small. All right. Okay. So tomorrow I understand Dr. Moazu's class will not come. It will not be the first class, right? The one who handled you virtually. It won't be the first class. Eh? No, so it won't come first. I think Dr. Issa will come first. And then he will come because of the time, the differences in time zone. That's what affected us last week. All right, so enjoy